First and foremost, I would like to give all the honors, the praises, the glory belongs to my Lord and Savior. His name is Yahweh, by Sham, Yahweh Shai, Mahasham, Maha, Rakak, Wadash. And honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the hopeful elects across the globe, and to the few brothers and sisters that are listening and also learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days. Because you know we're living in the last days of the last days. And guess what? We got something different today. We're going to do something different. This lesson is going to be called Systems Crashing as well as the program. You're starting to see the glitches now within the matrix. You're starting to see the glitches, the inconsistencies, and the scripts, right? Scripts. So there's a lot we're going to bring out. We're going to get into the scriptures. We're going to start off on Proverbs 22 and 3. Okay. This is Proverbs 22. I'm going to jump straight to verse 3. It says, a prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. That's a prudent man. So a prudent man is a man that's sagacious. Prudent means a man that has wisdom. He's able to foresee the evil before it even happens, right? And hideth himself. But the simple pass on and are punished. There used to be that game. It used to be called I think it was called Lemons. And lemons were like you would have to build a bridge, and the lemons would all walk in a straight line. And if the bridge wasn't built, or if it had a place missing, they would all walk off that bridge. So that's why it says the simple pass on and are punished. Right? There's a lot of simple people out here, and we can't afford to be simple. Okay? The simple pass on and are punished. Okay? But the prudent man is able to foresee evil and maneuver in the right way, in the ways of the scriptures. A lot of people are not doing that. Okay? A lot of people are not doing that. The simple believe every word. Every single word the simple believe in. They don't research, they don't study, they don't have critical thinking, they can't think outside of the box. Their thinking is given to them from a young age. Or over time. And the first 7 years of your life are the most important, because that's when you're becoming programmed from a child. What to believe, what to think, what to believe, how to act. That's all being given to you. From the moment you come out that room, from the moment you go to school, from the moment you go to high school, to the moment you go to college or university, that's all being programmed. All right? So we're going to get more. Let's also go to Sirach 11 and 7. You read it from people are reading from a script, man. Read it from a flipping script. All right? Actually, before we go into that, let's go to this. It's all scripted. Right? It's all scripted, and they're not gonna like that, because you watch the Matrix. What did you have? You had the what was his? I forgot his name. The architect. You had the architect, right? And the architect within the Matrix was basically saying Neo was a part of the anomaly, right? And so forth. And he had to change up the system all over again, reset it, just because of him, the anomaly. So we're going to start off with this scripted. It's all scripted. And what's a script? Scripted speech or broadcast, okay, has been written before it's read or performed. So this is fake. It's fake. I'm sorry to blow your bubble, right? It's fake. This way you have something called street theatre. Okay, it's fake. The programs you're watching from whatever it's all fake. All right, you have people behind the scenes with camera, lights, action. Second, oh, that didn't work. You have to do it over again. It's fake. Okay. Lights, camera, action. It's Albania, and it says scripted speech or broadcast has been written before it's read or performed. So it's a handwritten script that's mostly given by your CIA, right, and so forth, or arranged in advance, such as a speech or a performance or an event. It implies that content is pre-planned rather than spontaneous. So guess what? If something's pre-planned, that means the people that are speaking, they don't have their own thoughts. It's pre-planned. So what they're causing people, if you're given a script, you're causing people not to have their own thoughts, but read from a script. Right? This is why you have a lot of these people, when you watch them on these shows or presenters or whatever, you see them looking at a screen, reading from a screen, or reading from a page which they were given. Okay? And it's pre-planned. Scripted content is common in a cinema and a theatre where actors perform a script. So, you know what they say, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. That's why you can't believe everything you see and everything you read. Huh? Me, um, it's straight from the scriptures, but it's spontaneous. You know, these people, they're not spontaneous. They all say the same thing. So the system, guess what it's doing? It's creating robots. And technology has everything to do with this. It's programming, which we're going to talk about next. This is what you call neuro-linguistic programming. Now, neuro-linguistic programming is not an evil thing, by the way. Neuro-linguistic programming is based on changing behavior patterns. So if you have a negative behavior pattern, neuro-linguistic programming is it's another form of therapy. But you know what? It can be evil if it's altering your mind states, then that's evil. Anything that alters your mind is like psychedelics. This is why there was experiments what in the 60s, the hippies and all that, drugs, psychosis, hippies, and that was an experiment. All right, which we know that was CIA and all that, giving people drugs and all that thing. But again, now we're gonna go into Sirach 11 and 7. Blame not. Don't accuse someone, right? Blame not before they had examined the truth. Don't blame before you examine the truth. So keep your mouth shut until you examine something. Understand first. You need understanding first, right? Then rebuke. Then you can rebuke. Verse 8, answer not before thou hast heard the cause. A lot of people get involved in other people's business. They don't even know the cause. Neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not. Don't get involved in a matter that don't concern you. You've got a lot of people that would do that, right? And sit not in judgment with sinners. So this would get you out of harm's way. If a certain situation doesn't concern you and you don't know that person, don't stick your nose in, because now you've just got involved in a situation that you don't know about. But because someone got in your ear and brainwashed you, now you've just got yourself in a pickle. Right? This is the type of things that happen. Okay? And Exodus 23 and what's it, 1? Thou shalt not raise a false report, nor put forth thy hands with the wicked to be an unrighteous judge. And I've told you about this program. It's ran, from what I do know, by law enforcement and ex Royal Navy and what do you call it? What do you call it? What do you call it? The Navy and what's it? The barracks, all right? Because the only one that can run psychological tactics on anyone, the only one that really knows about that, are those that are taught in that particular field of things, or a psychologist. right? So when you're talking about neuro-linguistic programming, the people that control that do that, are people that are in the medical field, psychological field, and army. Because anyone that's been in the army, they're skilled on how people do things. Okay, facts. Okay, so you're not supposed to raise a false report. Law enforcement knocks on your door with a false flipping badge, and they may not even show you a badge. Oh yeah, we need you to watch this person because he's a bad person. We believe he's a bad person. Please watch him. Right? Put not forth thy hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous judge. That's what you're doing. And they might give you a bit of money. They might knock on your door dressed as a construction worker. Yeah, we pay you about £500. Just watch him for us. Please just watch him. Watch him. Now you've just put your hand forth to be an unrighteous judge. Now you got yourself caught up in something now. You were better off just saying no. I'm not doing that. But no, look what you got yourself into. Look what and a lot of this is also done. If that don't work, say if someone's they use the term uncontrollable. Oh, he's uncontrollable, whatever. Now say if that's the case, guess what they do? They can brainwash and mind control, yes, a whole entire community. This is not just by slander. This is by technology. I've told you about this already. I forgot the name of the different patterns. These are like different patents they have. And they use it with crowd control and so forth. There's different patterns they have. Now I've told you. They can put something like, it's on the end of like a traffic light. You will see one of the traffic lights and it has a small sound on it. It's like an acoustic. And this acoustic is very low, it's not loud. It has a microphone on it. And it's like a microphone, small, black. And they can have subliminal messages pushed out on it. It's very small. And I do believe they have these in towns and cities. Just listen, you can barely hear it, but it's subliminal sounds. So you can have someone speaking through it and have someone saying, what's an example? Have someone saying sleep, eat, hate, sleep, eat, hate. And this is like it's an acoustic. This is a speaker. And they can have these in different locations. And unbeknownst to you, that's in your city. And now you're wondering, everybody's in that same low energy spirit because you don't know that's there. And they even show you that in that movie They Live, when they were saying sleep, sleep, eat, sleep. Right? This is real stuff, and I'm not just saying this from a movie. I'm speaking from experience. A couple years ago, 4 years ago, when I was living with my parents, right? Guess what they done? They put a mic, right? A mic situated. And we're talking about contracting work. We're talking about construction now. They put a mic, an acoustic, and there was cars that were like 400 meters away on the motorway, away from the house, but it sounded like they were 2 meters away. They can do this by using acoustic. See, these things, if you're not privy to it, you're not gonna know. Right? You're not gonna know. Like in the cinemas, what do they have? They have loud acoustic speakers, and they turn it up. It's like a roar to give you that fright, to make you scared. The masses don't know about this, and I don't think the masses even really care. But we're just letting you know anyway. So we went to that Baba Kasha. Now we're going to further continue to read Baba Kasha, Baba Kasha. It's all conditioning. It's all conditioning. We are all under some type of programming, but When you come back to the Lord, you're able to break that. So before we get into these scriptures, all right, we're quickly going to go to now the conditioning. It's neuro-linguistic condition. There's different forms of conditioning. So the neuro-linguistic conditioning is done through hospital gear. I've told you this. They call it EEC. This is where you get the neural monitoring. The people that are neural monitoring you, right? They are what you call scientists, and some of them are working in the medical field. This is why you have ambulances pop up, sneak into houses, right? Because they are taking measurements of how your brain works, your sensory, all them things there, bro. Come on, your heartbeat, all them things. And it's also tied in with the military field because they have these. It's called, what's it? Patent. It's a patent. Yes, you. This is what I keep saying, brothers. Don't react because you're being studied. When you react, when you're angry, this is why the gang stalkers get sent to you and they're told to do certain things because they're studying what gets you angry. How are you so calm? This is actually happening. When the vans pop round, they're trying to map out your brain. Now, they're not going to like me for this one, but who cares? So it says, Baba Kasha, neuro goes to what? Your thoughts. Your neuro is, in the Greek is neura, which your neuro is your tendon, your cord, your spinal cord. Your neuro is your spinal cord, which is connected to your brain. This is why they were trying to hit you, which you're not mad. Yeah, they were trying to hit you with energy weapons in your head or your spinal cord, okay? And to try to get a reading, okay? Your spinal cord is connected to your brain. This is where you feel sensations, okay? And it says, Baba Kashan, neuro is your thought process and how you use your senses to understand what's happening around you. So brothers that are in the truth, that are in Yahushua, these people they tend to get really pissed off because they are studying you. This is why I would say, even with your phone, so you think they can't hack into your phone and actually see what you're thinking of. Your phone now has your phone has a biosensor implanted into your phone now. So as you're doing videos, your gang stalkers, they could be getting a reading if you're nervous, if you're happy, right? If you're angry, if you're feeling a bit sensitive. All this could be done through technology, I'm telling you. But the average person, they're not wise enough to know these things. Okay? They're not wise enough. So your neuro is to do with your brain, your how you perceive things around you. So guess what? Guess if you have a very strong perception and you have the truth, John 8:32, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And Corinthians, when the veil gets removed, you're able to see, you pick up on things. When they're gonna, as they're studying you, they're gonna pick up that you're very what's the word? Attentive and very aware of your surroundings. You get that? Okay. They don't like people like that. They want people that are stupid. Okay. So they basically testing you like a lab rat. Basically, the masses. It's ain't just one person. Now the difference is, what's the difference between the targeted individual, so-called empowered individual, and the rest of the masses, your gangsters? What's the difference? The difference is that targeted individual, he has a higher level of awareness of his surroundings and things and people, so he's less likely to be manipulated and controlled. That's why he's known as a so-called targeted individual, because the people that run the program want to control that person. So if they can't control him, this is where you have your gang stalking, your AI. This is why you have people. You could be you switch on your network, and all of a sudden someone would pull up in a car or pull up through the front door. They're being used, bro. They're being used. Your body is part electric. Our bodies are electrical signals, man. Did you know that? If you don't know, now you know. And check this out, Baba Kusha. I love these type of lessons, man, because this is all it's all psychology based. The reasonings of men. How do men think? When you read the book of Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiastes, this was Solomon. He went into the study of psychology, which is psychology is what? Which is psyche, your mind, your soul, and ecology means study of. So psychology is the study of your psyche, your soul. Okay? The people that run this world, they don't want you to know these things. Why does man, woman act the way they act? They study your dynamics, your family, how you would act in a certain situation. Let's continue. Let's continue. And neuro is thought process and how you use your senses. We all have senses, right? Hold on just a minute. Scriptures come into mind now. So I want to quickly go to Ecclesiasticus and it talks about the senses. I'll see if we can find it. The smell, imparted. Gonna have to bear with me. I'm just looking for a particular scripture. Senses. They're known as the five senses, right? Which are basically animalistic. Your five senses: smell. Hopefully, I can find this in the Apocrypha, which I have an Apocrypha, but it's all ripped up now because I was using it for so long. Heavy, found it. It's in Ecclesiastes 17 and 5. So it says, Ecclesiasticus 17 and 5 in the King James Version mentions that God imparted, right, understanding and speech to humanity, enabling them to interpret their thoughts. This verse highlights the divine gift of senses and intellect to help people navigate life. 5 operations. Before we get into this, we read out the whole scriptures. It says they received the use of 5 operations of the Lord. And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding. In the 7th, speech, right? An interpreter of the cogitations thereof. Counsel and a tongue and eyes and ears and hearts gave he them to understand. So these are your senses, right? You have your nose. What's your nose for? It's for smelling, so you can smell, right? What's your ears for? So you can hear, right? That's a sense, so you can hear, right? You can also sense danger. Okay. Um, your eyelashes. Your eyelashes that stop dirt from going into your eye. I don't want to get too over the top. But this is why speech for communication, right? The interpreter of cogitations. All these things. So these are your senses for communication, for understanding, and so forth. So we're gonna go into these operations. Yeah. To comprehend the experience and surroundings. You see? And this is all in the scriptures, by the way. Okay, so we went to that. And we're going to go into the word, then we're going to get back into the scriptures now. And it says linguistic. So the word linguistic equals language. All right? Linguistic is language and how it's used to influence you. So even words, words can have an influence over you. You know that, right? Certain words. This is why your gang stalkers, they will repeat the same words to you over and over and over again. And they also try to mimic you. So I'm a man, I like to use that word 100%. Now your gang stalkers will come to you and say 100%, because again, it's a bit of admiration and they don't have their own mind. You're talking when you're talking to people, certain people, you're talking to computer programs, basically. That's what you're talking to. And it says programming your behavior and how you organize ideas and reactions. So that's the linguistic side of it. Okay. The language. So now we're going to go to Romans 12th chapter, which we bring out a lot. Okay. Romans. You're not dealing with no fools around here, man. I told you that. You're not dealing with no fools. And we're not done yet. There's a more. Romans 12, right? And 2. Check this out. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformed, metamorphosed by the renewing of your mind. So our minds have to be renewed through the Spirit of the Lord, Jehovah Shai. Yes, you can renew your mind, you can renew your cells. You know that, right? Every single day. Okay. By what? These words, that you may prove what is good and acceptable, the perfect will of God. So yeah, that can be done. That's the real brainwashing. That's the real programming. Program our minds in the scriptures. Okay. Babakasha. So now we went into that. We're also going to go to 2 Corinthians 4 and 16. Okay. Babakasha, Babakasha. Then we're going to go into one more form of conditioning, which is known as Pavlov conditioning. Pavlov was a man, by the way, that came up with this form of conditioning. Okay. So let's go to this quickly. Babakasha, Babakasha, Babakasha. Pavlov conditioning is mostly used with dogs. So you're going to see dog walkers. Now, there's different levels to different brothers' programming. Every brother's programming is slightly different, slightly. Some of you have a lot of people that walk around with dogs, right? And what they would do with these dogs, they would go, and they want you to see it because they're trying to mess with your psyche. They will have a dog, they'd be feeding it, or they'd be chucking a ball to it, and the dog will come back, obviously, because it's a dog, right? It's going to come back to its owner. So they will use these dogs to try to get into your subconscious and try to feed you a false image of something that's not true. Now, when I see them doing this, remember, your gang stalkers, they're under mind control. They have a handler. So when they use these tactics, it's like, okay, you're doing that, but that's what your handlers are doing to you, because you have to report back to them. Now, the thing is, brothers, you are free. Don't get it twisted. Don't fall for these techniques. They have the doggies, right? The dog walkers. Obviously, they're not working. Someone's went out to work and they look after their dogs. Because I've spoke to a lot of these dog walkers and I ask them, is it your dog? And they say, no, it's not my dog. I'm just looking after it for someone. And the reason why they use the dog walkers because these people have more time to watch you and monitor you. And they also use the dogs for witchcraft as well. Okay? They're also using dogs to monitor you. Facts. So let's get back to it. It's called Pavlov conditioning, mostly used with dogs. Okay? By using what? Something you call stimuli. Now, a big part of your AKA gang stalking programming, you're also going to see cars speeding, right? Sometimes they're not going to be speeding. Sometimes they're going to be in cruise control, about 10 meters away in cruise control, because that causes a stimuli. It's been proven, and it can put you in fight or flight mode. So this is an attack on your nervous system. These people are being taught these techniques from higher up. Okay. You've seen my past videos, right? Where I'll be walking in the street and you have cars spinning past. Okay. So by using stimuli, which is known as hyper, in the I think it's the Latin or the Greek, hyperagisia, caused by sensation or noise. This is why you have noise campaign to mess with your nervous system. These people are wicked. They're wicked, man. Right? By sensation or noise, which can arise from within the body tissue. So they're trying to destroy your body tissues. Right? Stimulus is a medical term, something that golds a lazy organ. So, example, if you're sitting down, you might have some psychopath narcissist like, why is he sitting down? Yeah. Use their computers. Get someone to make some noise. Get someone to slam this. So, read this again. Stimulus, a medical term, something that golds a lazy organ. Pointed stick for driving cattle or slaves. Right? So, what would they do? They would prod their cattle, right? So it can move, so it can get up. These are all control techniques. Sting, pain, of torment. Some of you are talking about energy weapons, which these things are real. Why are they doing that? For control. Okay? To cause incitement. Oh, what's incitement? What does incitement mean? Incitement is rage, right? You incite someone, is rage. So guess what? The people that do these type of things, guess what they're creating? Criminals. What's the latest on the news? What did you have in was it Cambridgeshire? What's that? You had stabbings. Now I'm not going to jump to conclusions, but I know a little bit is all right. There were stabbings. These people jumped on the trains. Who's to say they weren't provoked? Who's to say they weren't prodded like a cattle? Bro, you don't know. But you will watch the news and you believe anything you see on the news because you're vulnerable. You're not vulnerable. You're gullible. I'm not justifying that. The stabbing is bad, right? It's awful. But you have all these people, right? Who's been arrested? You ain't heard about no arrests, none at all. With this technology they use upon me, they should be able to catch criminals easy. Easy time. There's no excuses, man. Listen, they create your criminals, bro. I've told you that already. By this, they create your criminals, man. So when it says to cause incitement, this is what they do. This is why you have gang stalkers that will do some weird things around you because they're under a form of control, whether they're aware of it or whether they're not aware of it. Stimulus response. It's called stimulus response, used to establish what ways, laws of reaction. Ha, ha. As to predict a response. So they want you to react so they can get basically predict some type of response. Because I keep telling you, brothers, some of the helicopters, some of the spy planes, and some of the cars that pull up, and some of these cars, I've seen it early on within the gang stalking program. They will put things in their cars as well, certain objects in their cars to monitor you. They also do that as well. Okay. And the vans. Okay. As to predict a response will be made, used to arouse or desire a response. So stimuli is based on you being responsive. Right? That's what it's based upon. But guess what? Individuals like this, they're losing their power, man. They're losing their power. And this is what you call Pavlov conditioning. So we went into neuro, linguistic conditioning, right? Which is thought process, how you're processing things around you and your thoughts. and how you perceive stuff and how you do stuff and your actions, because your thoughts are linked with your actions. That's why the scripture says in Proverbs, as a man thinketh, so is he. So, if you got people telling you continually, you're lazy, you're worthless, you're worthless, you're worthless, you're worthless, you're worthless. Eventually, if you're not strong-minded, you're going to start to believe that, and you're going to start acting that out in your daily life. That's why you've got to be careful, and you've got to keep a lid through the scriptures on what you're letting coming through your mind and what you're letting come out. Okay? You've got to keep a lid on that. Okay? Don't worry, this whole system's crashing, man. The whole program's getting exposed now, man. Your little cheesy scripts getting exposed. Okay? Let's see what else we've got, Baba Kishon. So let's go to Psalms 7 and 9. The Lord's going to put an end to all this madness. And I was just watching a video earlier of what's his name? Welcome to the Awakening. Man, he was doing a video, and guess what? He had vans and cars beeping outside. So I told you, it's not just you. This is happening worldwide. Worldwide, man. And the Lord's going to put an end to it. Psalm 7 and 9. And you may be asking, well, who's doing it? Who's actually doing it? I've told you. It's law enforcement, right, and ex-army officers. And a few corrupt policemen as well. They're the ones that are doing it. So you could see it as a social conditioning, because the police are now becoming what you call militarized. So it's all a part of a new world order. It's all a part of the NWO, getting everybody in line. This is why they don't want people within your community really coming together. They want you at each other's necks, turning on each other, man. And if you know about this technology, you have basically you're able to maneuver in such a way where it don't get you like that. Okay, this is some sophisticated stuff we're talking about. Sophisticated. I keep telling you, you can control people. You know, you can control certain people with EMF waves. You know that, right? But if you don't know about this stuff, you're gonna think that's your own thoughts. When it's not your own thoughts. That's someone with a remote control controlling you. We looked up that word zombie before. And what happens when you look up that word zombie? Should we go into it again? Hold on just a minute. We go into it again. Look up that word zombie and see what's going to come up. Okay? Bear me just a minute. So when we get that zombie in voodoo belief or popular folklore, a corpse, a body that has been reanimated. A corpse is a dead body that's been reanimated. Oh yeah, I can speak from experience right now, what I'm going through, where I'm living, because I'm living amongst other people right now. It's the first time like having a place of my own, and I'm doing all right. I'll say I'm doing all right. What they've done, they move people in, and these people they practice voodoo, so they're spiritually dead, but they're reanimated. How are they reanimated? Through especially by means of supernatural power or spell, black magic, witchcraft. So they use this as a power and to try to control people. This is why you could be living somewhere and you're like, who's this on top of my head? And they'll be stabbing up some voodoo dolls and they sound like they're in a trance. Because go to two now. One who looks or behaves like an automation. What's an automation? What's an automation? Let's type in automation. All right. We're going to learn. When you watch these videos, you're going to learn. Type in automation. Automation. See what comes up. Meaning. automation, operation of controller, equipment, process, or system techniques, equipment used to achieve ultimate operation control, the condition of being automatically controlled or operated. Yeah, people are now being automatically controlled and operated through via electric signals through the brain. Right? That's why I love that movie, The Matrix. It tells you that. Okay, it tells you that, bro. And it was happening with us, but when you were in the world, you never knew this was happening. See, this is nothing new. Everything that's being spoken of, your gang stalkers, red, blue, white, all that, the cars, people coming out at certain times, that was always happening. That was always happening. The so-called harassment, that was always happening. They were watching you for years. You know what? So a few things I've noticed. We're going to get back to it. A few things that's been noticed is, say about when you were about 9, 8, 10 years old, 11 years old, you were doing something in your house with your family or what so, that will get mentioned to you, right? How did they know that? Because they had that technology all that time. All that time, bro. They had this all that time. Because you might get certain things that were mentioned to you, certain things you said, like you may have said a certain phrase, like I don't know, you may have said a certain phrase like 10 years ago, and now people are saying that same phrase to you now, 20, 30, 10 years down the line. Why? Because it's always been here, but you never saw it. You see? Watch the Truman Show as well. So we're gonna get back to this now. It says one who acts and behaves like an automation. So an automation is someone that's being automatically ran like a bot, a robot. The Lord never created us to be robots. No. Now man is wicked, so that's what man wants. Right? A computer, we're still looking up this term zombie, a computer connected to the internet. Connected to the internet and controlled by a remote unauthorized, which would be a hacker, user to perform malicious tasks. Are you listening? To perform malicious tasks. You know what malicious means? Evil tasks. So people that are into voodoo, you know what that is? You know what voodoo is? It's mind control. It's hypnotism. You know that, right? That's why when people talk about these cults are under what you would call a program, which is mind control. Okay? Their brains are cracked, basically. They're on that crack to perform malicious tasks. So these people, they would do stuff that is harmful to themselves and to others. Why? Because they've been hacked. They've been hacked, man, without the owner being aware. So some of these people are not even aware of what they're doing. We're reading it right here. And this is the definition of zombie without the owner being aware. This is why don't bug out when you leave your house, when you leave your premises, and you see people acting very strange. You're going to see synchronicities. You're going to see people leaving their house at the same time, giggling, coming out of cars, going into the store when you go into a store. This is done by a remote control. It's done by a remote control. Okay? A person usually undead, animated. Now it says undead. No, it is a person that's dead. Animated by unnatural forces, which are satanic forces, such as magic, with no soul, or will of his or her own. This is what happens when you join the other side. When you sell out, when you go to them lodges, what do? They crack your mind, they crack your brain. so you can bend to their will. Now you have no soul or will of his own. This is why they do certain things. Okay? Real talk. A person brought back to life with no energy, or a creature that attacks humans. So who would the humans be? Those of you that are in the truth. You see? So we're gonna go back to it and we're gonna shut off on this Babakasha. So the stimuli, um now these zombies, these NPCs, they act off stimuli as well. The stimuli is just their surroundings and they act off noise. So say if you walk through the door, they will all be silent, right? You could have a group of people in a household. You walk through the door, they'll all be silent, but they go off sound, so they also act off sounds and so forth. Okay? The stimulus, the medical term, something that goes, I already told you that already. Stimulus used to establish laws of reaction to predict. So there you go. Right? There you have it. So that's why you have to be renewed. That's why you have to be in these scriptures, man. Put on a new man. 2 Corinthians 4:16. No, what's it? Outward man perish. Our inward man is renewed day by day. Every day. You got to make sure this new man is being renewed. The old man is perishing. The new man is being renewed. You only do that through these scriptures, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Shem, Yahweh Shai. That's how. Don't let these people fool you, man. These people, they computer. They're no longer human anymore. They used to be. Now they're computer systems. So when you're talking to them, right? When you're talking to certain people, they're computer systems, man. So be careful what information you're giving to these systems, because they're carrying that information back somewhere else. Okay? You shall know the truth and it shall set you free. I hope this was edifying. And until the next time, shalom.